Good morning to you. I'm Danielle Knox, and welcome to The Balancing Act. Today, some critical advice that could help you put an end to your child's destructive influences. Also, Dr. Janet Brill is here to help us improve our nutrition with a guide of healthy fruit snacks to munch on while on the go. And of course, it is no summer without great locations like St. Martin. Planning your trip begins right here. Don't flip that dial. The Balancing Act is next. Ladies, think about this for a minute. A richly exotic locale, horseback riding on the beach, superior sumptuous cuisine, duty-free shopping, sailing on a turquoise ocean. We are talking about the exotic, unique island of St. Martin. And here to tell us more is Regina LaBega, Director of Tourism for the St. Martin Tourist Bureau. And we appreciate you so much being here because it's so close. I think a lot of us think, you know, the Caribbean is far, but St. Martin is actually pretty close. And it's changed so much over the last several years. Tell us about some of the wonderful ways St. Martin has changed.
Oh, definitely. St. Martin has become a very intimate, very relaxing and yet sophisticated destination, and it's a wonderful place to come to. And you're absolutely right, it's very close. It's only 2.5 hours away from Miami and 3.5 hours away from New York City, so we're really geographically excellently situated. We have a brand new airport, and you can get there by practically any legacy carrier, by United, American Airlines, US Air. They all come, as well as the low-cost carriers as well. So you can really get to St. Martin quite easily.
One of the things I like is you've got 77,000 English-speaking inhabitants on the island. You're just 150 miles from Puerto Rico, so a lot of people will go to Puerto Rico and then hop on over to St. Martin. It's easy to do that. And talk about the beaches, because when I used to go to St. Martin, before I had the kids, I used to love going to the beaches.
Well, you definitely can come, even though you still have the kids.
Okay.
And you're absolutely right. We have 37 white sand powdered beaches. And so there's 37 of them. We say that there's one for each mile because, as you know, St. Martin is 37 square miles. And you can enjoy some of the wonderful beaches. And we also have various water sports that you can enjoy in St. Martin. There's over 14 different types of water sports.
You know, Regina, when I go anyplace, I always have to concentrate on the food. So talk to me about the food on St. Martin. If I remember correctly, it's amazing.
Well, St. Martin is the culinary capital of the world. The food is absolutely amazing. We have over 400 restaurants on 37 square miles, over 400 restaurants. All different types of restaurants, Vietnamese restaurants, Chinese, French cuisine, Mexican cuisine, Italian, any type of restaurant that you can think
of.
Even
Creole and Tex-Mex.
Creole and Tex-Mex, all those. We have all those type of restaurants in St. Martin.
What about, we talked about the cultural diversity. What are some of the cultural attractions St. Martin offers?
Well, as a matter of fact, Carnival is a big one. We're celebrating 40 years of Carnival next year, so that's a big festivity. There's hiking, biking, horseback riding, 14 kinds of water sports, sailing. There's also the Butterfly Farm, which is a zoological and botanical garden. Unique music styles from merengue, calypso, soca and reggae, souk, all different types of music. All kinds of festival celebrations and regattas. St. Martin has a rich 350-year cultural history with an estimated 77 different nationalities. And next year, we'll probably be hosting the first International Film Festival. We also have, and sailing and yachting, etc. We have a yachting regatta. It's the most renowned yachting regatta in the region. It's called the Heineken Regatta, and that happens in March every year. And we also have the Boardwalk Mass, which is a blend of festive, traditional culture, and it happens right after Carnival and during the first week of May.
Where can you stay on the island?
Well, we have various type of accommodation. We have the brand name hotels like the Marriotts and the Westins, etc., and the Radisson. And you also have the quaint hotels. So there's over 3,000 rooms that you can find, all different types of accommodation that fits your taste.
Well, where can people find out more information?
You can go to www.vacationstmartin.com.
All right, Regina, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Up next, an indispensable guide for parents dealing with an out-of-control teenager.
Hello, I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh. More importantly, I'm the mother of two. If you're pregnant and work outside your home, know that there is no national law requiring employers to offer any paid maternity leave. There are, however, laws guaranteeing some time off. Know that you're entitled to up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave under the Family and Medical Leave Act. If you've been at your job for more than a year and are not a key employee, then you qualify. The company must protect your job and continue your health insurance. Also, know this, the 12 weeks don't need to be taken consecutively, and you can start them before your baby is born. So be in the know before you go. Happy labor.
Hi, welcome back to The Balancing Act. And this is a question I know a lot of parents out there are asking. How can you help protect your children from destructive influences? Well, here today to discuss this important subject and to share their story are Sue Sheff, author of this book right here. It's called Wit's End, Advice and Resources for Saving Your Out-of-Control Teen, and Kristen E. Stadel, who as a teen herself experienced a similar situation as Sue's daughters. Ladies, thank you so much for being here with us. This is such an important topic because I know for you, you were a single mom raising your daughter by herself, and then she started to get out of control. And you did what you thought you needed to do, was to put her into a residential treatment facility, but that's when things even went downhill even more. Tell us about that.
Well, they escalated, yes. What happened was, I had a really good teen. I mean, she was a good kid, and she was a gymnast. And what happened was, she broke her foot in 5 different places and couldn't compete gymnastic in her field any longer, and it totally blew her self-esteem. And I always said that we pretty much lived in like a glass house, and when that glass house shattered, she didn't know what to do with herself anymore. And it really, it destroyed her, I think, emotionally. And then to compound it, we were going through some personal issues at home with a relationship that I was in. So I think I lost touch a little bit with her during a time that she probably needed me most. But before I chose to send her to a therapeutic boarding school, I did exhaust every local resource, which I always encourage parents, you know, whether it's therapy or going to live with a relative or getting any type of help you can find.
And you know, I think what's interesting about this is, and I'm sure now when you look back, you can see the signs. You see the signs were there, but when you're going through it, and I think this is something a lot of parents out there probably don't realize, is when you're going through it, you think it may be just normal teenage behavior to some degree, right?
Well, a lot of it you say is typical teen. This is a typical teen. And then you hit that parent denial mark. And when you hit that parent denial mark, that can be dangerous, because that's when things can start to escalate. And that's when you start saying, well, it's not really her, it's the friend she's hanging out with. I think another important issue, I'm sorry, that you need to stress here is being a single parent doesn't isolate the situation. I mean, this happens in nuclear families, the mother and father, and you just have this one child that all of a sudden is making some really bad choices, whether it's picking a bad peer group or just wanting to fit in. If there was a death of a friend or a family, and all of a sudden you see a personality change. I have parents that call me on constantly in emails, you don't understand, my child's so smart, he's 96th percentile and was on the football varsity team, and then all of a sudden, smoking pot, smoking cigarettes, just out of the blue.
Well, here's the interesting thing, Kristen. I know you went through some similar troubles. Tell us about your story and what got you into a treatment facility and why that probably wasn't the best move for you initially.
Well, the reason that I was put in these places was when I was 14, my mother passed away from ovarian cancer, and we were very close. And then my dad and I were complete opposites. We didn't know one another really, in a way. Even though we lived together, we were like in shock. And we didn't know how to deal with one another, and we were fighting, and I was going through depression as he was as well. And so he, in order to deal with the situation, he sent me away to these places.
When you say in order to deal with the situation, Kristen, how bad did it get? How bad at home, and how bad did your behavior get?
My behavior, as far as I remember it, was it was more of a depression that I was going through. It wasn't that I was, out there doing drugs or, being wild and crazy. It was just deep depression for me, and anger because of the depression, and just having a really hard time, not knowing how to deal with it, and just struggling out there. So.
And how bad did it get for Ashlyn?
That's pretty much like with Ashlyn when she lost her gymnastics, her Olympic dream. I mean, that was her dream, was to make nationals and go on to the Olympic. And she had been accepted into the national gym, and she was actually commuting, flying home on weekends, living, at the gym in Orlando. And when her dream just, burst, and like Kristen, she was left in a state of depression, I think. And I think, I don't know Kristen's father, but I know we get to a point where we're at our wit's end, and you don't know where to turn, and you don't know who to reach out to. So you go to the so-called, experts in the field of trying to find these programs. But what happens is they usually direct you to a lot of times therapists don't know of therapeutic boarding schools and residential treatment centers, and they refer you sometimes to these educational consultants, which I had attempted to, and I don't think Kristen's father tried too. And the first thing they always recommend is these quote-unquote wilderness programs, which in my opinion are more or less like a boot camp and breaking a child down. And one thing I knew about Ashlyn, and probably Kristen too, is these kids were already broken down. They didn't need to be broken any further. So I did not go the wilderness route, and I further did research online to try to find another avenue for Ashlyn. Kristen's father went the wilderness route, and it wasn't. Yeah, and it wasn't.
You say unfortunately.
Yeah.
Why unfortunately?
Well, I mean, I had depression and anxiety, and being out in the mountains hiking for 60-something days, not being able to shower for like 2 weeks at a time.
Limited food, right?
Very limited food, and always the same thing, and very just plain. I mean, just stripped of everything. I mean, even things from deodorant to the kind of toothpaste we were allowed to use and the things we were allowed to do. It was just like a total shock. Like, what do you mean I can't take a shower? What do you mean I can't even use deodorant? I mean, and that made me feel disgusting.
These kids are already down, they're low enough. And that's why they're acting out. Where these negative impulsivities are stemming from is this low self-worth. And then you put them into a situation that breaks them down even further. It can only really make a child feel worse.
But here's the thing, and I think you'll agree, a lot of parents do this because they think they're doing the right thing for their child. What are some alternatives? What can parents do if they're faced with a similar situation you were with Ashlyn and Kristen? What can parents do to ensure that their children are going to the right place that will give them the help they need?
Well, in my book, which is Wit's End, part 2 of Wit's End is all about helping educate a parent to find a safe and healthy alternative boarding residential therapy boarding school. My organization that I created because of my own experience back in 2001, Parents Universal Resource Experts, which if you go online is helpyourteens.com, is all about educating the parent on how to find these healthy programs. Number one, if your child likes some type of whether it's equestrian or culinary arts or skiing, snowboarding, try to find a school that offers that, because we want to build your child back up again. We don't want to break them down. We don't want to punish your child. We don't want a program that's punitive. I have parents that call me on a daily basis and email me on a daily basis, I need a good boot camp. No, you don't, because the boot camps are only going to instill more anger and build more resentment. And these are just things that when you are at your wit's end and you're desperate and you start making these rash decisions, you think, I'm going to teach my child. And I thought the same thing, I'm going to teach her a lesson. It doesn't teach her a lesson, it teaches you, the parent, a lesson.
I know there are a lot of parents out there who are going through exactly what you've gone through, a lot of teenagers going through exactly what you've gone through. Where can people go to find out more information?
My website, which is www.helpyourteens.com, has a vast amount of information and helpful hints on finding safe alternatives. It also helps parents determine whether this is a step that they actually need to take.
Okay, and Kristen?
I have a website which is www.itsallgood bookonline.com.
Okay.
And it's about my book that I'm in the process of writing through my experiences and what I've learned, and to give inspiration to others in the same situation.
Because it's all good now, huh?
Yep.
All right, ladies, thank you very much. We do appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next, our nutrition expert, Dr. Janice Brill, gives us some great tips on eating healthy while on the go.
Welcome back to The Balancing Act. I'm Dr. Wendy Welsh. We're joined again by our favorite nutritionist, Dr. Janet Brill, author of Cholesterol Down.
Hi, Janet.
Hi.
So, Danielle, we come to work.
We do.
You know, there's fast food available, there's the burrito truck out the back, and there's a vending machine.
And a coffee machine.
And a coffee machine. How do we eat healthy at work?
Well, first of all, you got to plan ahead.
Okay.
You need to eat a healthy breakfast at home before you get to work. So you want to take off the
What are
the
some
hunger
examples of
pains.
healthy breakfast?
Oatmeal is my favorite, of course. Or a whole grain cereal, some skim milk or soy milk is always nice, some fruit.
You know, a lot of times what we tend to do is to skip breakfast altogether because we're in a hurry. We've got to get out the door. We're rushing to leave for work. We don't eat any breakfast, and then we get to work, and then we just kind of let it all
Grab
go.
what's there.
Grab whatever
And
is
we
there.
want to try and avoid that.
Okay.
So again, the best thing you can do is to eat a healthy breakfast.
Okay, and you brought some examples of things that we can cart and carry to work with us.
Looks good.
And we should plan
Absolutely.
this when our tummy's full, so we're
That's
thinking
correct.
healthful, not
and
while
you
we're
want to
hungry.
have a nice stash of nutritious, healthy food at work, either in a fridge or bring a little, container with food. And there's plenty of food that you can bring from home.
Okay, these are
that's
some
very
good examples.
nutritious.
Tell us about it.
Well, fruit is always a great and easy choice. Nutritious, low in calories. So an apple, a banana, you could throw those in your purse.
And Janet, this I love.
Yeah,
I
isn't
love
that cute?
these.
Well, that I love.
Instant tuna salad to go. It comes with chunk light tuna in water,
With
a
crackers.
few crackers,
And
a
a
little bit of
spoon.
relish and mayonnaise, and you can
Throw
make
it
your
in
own
your
tuna
purse,
salad.
and you got a nice nutritious snack as well, high in protein. Fill you up. It's great.
Now we're both mothers with little kids, so
Yeah.
we know
That's
about
string
string cheese
cheese.
and carrots. So these are not just for our kids; they're for us too. Huh?
No, and again, you can get these little packets that are already prepared. So again, you can throw that in your purse and keep it at work and just eat it as a snack. And again, that takes the hunger pangs off. And so then you make better, more nutritious choices when it comes to the real meals.
And one of the things I tend to do is I tend to want to do a lot of soda or juices when I'm at work. But what I do with my kids is I take this bottled water
Yeah.
and I put one of those little inserts in it, either from Crystal Light or Weiler's.
that's
They have
great.
those little
Jazz it up.
jazz it up, and you just throw that in your purse. You can have those with you all the time.
So it
And
feels
that's
like
always
you're
a
getting
better choice, honestly, than the fruit juice, because if you're watching your weight, and who isn't these days, this is calorie-free, and juice is a lot of calories in a little bit. So I always tell my patients, don't drink your calories, drink water instead.
drink water. And I see you've got yogurt, of course.
love it.
Non-fat yogurt. What's the other one?
Perfect snack. This is something that I found. It's actually cottage cheese, and this little container is only 80 calories, but it has
Wow.
a nice dose of bone-building calcium. So, and it again, and protein, so it takes the edge off, and a great little nutritious snack.
And how about that old-fashioned idea of brown bag in it, pack in your
Brown
sandwich?
bagging. You control what goes into your lunch, and you know that you're going to eat healthy because you made it at home. So you can make it with whole grain, a lot of vegetables, and one of my favorites you can buy at the supermarket now.
The sushi.
Sushi and a
Yes.
vegetable sushi.
I love
So again, nutritious, low calorie, great lunch.
And nuts, of course.
Nuts
I
are
love
a
that.
good snack.
I love
Almonds,
that.
my favorite.
Dr. Janet Brill, always a pleasure to have you here. So now we know we can always eat healthy at work if you plan ahead and pack nutritious snacks. Thanks for being
Thank you,
with us.
Janet.
Thank you.
Is there fire in your bedroom? Can food help you enhance your love life? Well, for centuries, it's believed to do so. Aphrodisiac cuisine, dated back to at least 5,000 years in history, it's said to sizzle couples' sexual appetite. The term aphrodisiac is derived from the name Aphrodite, a goddess of love, fertility, and beauty in Greek mythology. The Greeks believed that a couple's sexual libido and reproductive wellness were directly linked to a good nutrition. Aphrodisiac cuisine today includes oysters, Prawns, caviar, chocolate, asparagus, pistachios, truffles, rose petals, chilies, and curries, among other foods rich in nutrients. Aphrodisiac cuisine blends rich flavors, exquisite aromas, and exotic presentations, all believed to seduce your senses. In the U.S., aphrodisiac-inspired delicatessens are becoming widely popular from coast to coast. And if you're thinking about spicing up your love life, how about adding a little passion to your romantic dinner? For some hot and sexy aphrodisiac-inspired recipe ideas and for more information on this subject, you can visit thebalancingact.com. Thank you so much for joining us here today on The Balancing Act. I'm Danielle Knox. Be sure to watch us every weekday morning right here on Lifetime Television. Coming up tomorrow, learn how your emotions could be controlling your financial health. Don't let your green turn into gray. Learn how you can take charge. And your next diet meal plan can save you money and time in the kitchen. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. And keep checking thebalancingact.com for daily updates.
Air travel for The Balancing Act provided by Southwest Airlines.